Now is the time. A time you'll look back on. A time you adopt as inspiration. You will recollect this time. This moment, right now. Motivate yourself towards success. Overcome. Take over. The time is now.
Should we get him in? Should we get him in since he's bothered to turn up?
Crafty Hawley.
Hey, Chris.
That's in.
Crafty Hawley. You said it as well, Daz, didn't you? Just before we went, you were like, not sure he's going to make it. Might well pop on. Here he is.
I said, well, I hope he turns up because he turns up, he'll be drunk. Lovely.
I am off cut, like, yeah.
Get in. I've got some catching up to do.
And I have some water to drink as well to get me through the review part of it anyway. Right, how's everyone first of all?
Cloud9.
Cloud9. Good. Hope everyone in the chat is good as well. Another victory. Just saying to Pete, kind of getting sick of them now, aren't we? No. Bring on 2 more this week. That's all I say. Right, let us get straight into it. We won't waste any time. We'll get straight into it. Bring you through the games and blow by blow. First off, let's go to the team sheet. No major surprises. I guess the big one was who was going to replace J7, and that answer was Jacob Murphy. Any surprises there, lads?
I don't think for either me or Chris.
We called it, didn't we, Pete? We called it.
We said on away days. We said we thought Murphy would come in. We both said we'd love Maxi to start, but we did thought that that Murphy would come in. So yeah, no surprises.
No. Good. And yeah, with the Southampton team as a lineup, and it was there's Theo Walcott, and it was nice that Theo Walcott took the field today because Gareth Southgate was in the audience, and I'm sure that's who he came to see because Walcott is definitely getting into that World Cup squad. It's happened before, it could happen again. You're in trouble then. But the young Theo Walcott, 33 years old, haven't seen him play for a while. And what did you say, Pete? In the chat?
Yeah, I was like, literally, I messaged you guys in the chat, and I was like, I'm sure he's retired. I didn't even know he's still there. And you know what made me laugh even more so is I clicked on that exact team sheet that you just put up, guys. That was obviously tweeted out by the club, Southampton, and I'll always look for the comments underneath, and all the comments were saying, "What the fuck? Like, what is going on? Why the hell is Walcott starting?" And that just filled me with a lot of confidence going into this game. It did.
What's he doing bringing on Walcott so early? That old chestnut. Yeah, right. Let us get into the game. As the lads took to the pitch. Thanks, Jordan, for that lovely pick, by the way. First 5 minutes, Newcastle were on top. Gavin Mazuma had a lot of the ball at his feet for the first opening few minutes as well. On the 8th minute, Pope drops the ball from the throw, and I was thinking, oh, is it going to be one of those days? And the 9th minute, just a minute after that, a save from Popey. It was a kind of a very scrappy opening 25 minutes or so, I thought. And jump in here, lads, at any point as we go along. 23 minutes. Miggy to Wilson to Longstaff. Longstaff probably should have finished there. That ball into the box. He was offside anyway, but he should have finished that. Then on the 24th minute, there was a few cries in your house, Pete, for a handball, I think, but it wasn't given.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And me and Daz were just talking off air, and it was me and my little boy. He's only 4. We were watching. I say we were watching the game. I was watching the game while he was playing. But every time I reacted to something, he would just come and sit next to me and say exactly the same thing. So when that happened, and Almiron knocked the ball back, I was like, "It's a pen! It's a pen!" And my little boy's next to me going, looking at the screen, "It's a pen, Daddy! It's a pen!" He had no idea what it was all about, but he was loving it that I was so like kind of focused on the game. Bless him. But yeah, to be fair, I did think it was a pen when I first seen it initially. But then when you watch the replays, you kind of think, would you be annoyed if that was given against you? And I would be. I'd be seething if that was. So I did kind of understand why it wasn't, why nothing more was kind of given to that.
Cool. We'll move on from there. Good passing as always from Bruno. Trippier putting in a few balls into the box as well. On the 34th minute, though, as I get where I need to be here on screen, 34th minute, link-up play between Longstaff and Wilson. Miggy, man of the moment, takes it around Sofaloo in an unorthodox style, but it worked, and he puts the ball in the back of the net again for his 7th goal in as many games. Miggy, what a goal to get us off the mark. What did you make of that one, Chris? I'll go to you first, Chris, on that one.
Do you know what? I had to watch it about 4 or 5 times back, because when I seen it live, like straight away, I thought, oh my God, what a bit of skill that was. You know, the way like the defender goes to ground and then Miggy just dinks it past him. And I've still not totally made my mind up. I'm kind of working on the fact that I think it was instinctive. I don't think Miggy knew he was going to do that, but I think it was good initiative, you know, to like kind of you know, realise he needed to prod it round him and then go round and tucked it away. But my God, like, the man's just on fire, isn't he? He's just absolutely on fire. And you know, I thought it was a great finish by someone who's really, really confident at the minute. I know we keep saying this, and we probably shouldn't, but you know, a year ago he wouldn't have took that away. But the form he's in now, absolutely brilliant. Really good goal. And I thought as well, as soon as the goal went in, I thought we were more on the front foot. You know, I was thinking at the start it was a little bit cagey, but once we got that goal, it was like we got back into our rhythm then, and I thought we played really well. But yeah, great finish from Miggy, and I'm going to say good improvisation, because I think that's what it was.
And as Jimmy calls me Smurf one more time, but I actually, before we go get Pete's analysis on the goal, I had to laugh at Sky's play like Almiron before the start of the game. Was brilliant. Well done, Sky, on that one. Pete, your thoughts on Miggy's goal?
Terrific goal, really nice build-up play. I've got to be honest, I don't know what you guys thought, but when that ball went into Wilson and he got chopped by the young German centre back, I was crapping it, because I was thinking, please don't get injured, But then the play moves on, and it was a really nice kind of little 1-2 move that puts Miggy through. And when he's through and he's coming in on his left-hand side, his favourite side, you're thinking, please. And then there's almost like a stutter. And this was the argument on Sky, whether he meant it or not. I don't know for sure, but Ainsley Maitland-Niles just gets put on his arse, and then it just falls nicely to him. Bang. Nice little side foot into the far corner. Brilliant finish. And as Chris said, he is absolutely on fire. I think he's captured the hearts of not just all Newcastle United fans, but everyone in the media, other clubs. I mean, you've got even the betting sites on Twitter that are tweeting about him. There was Barstool and the American sports site that were saying, they tweeted out this morning, like buzzing for not match day, that they get to watch Miggy play, and he's gone and done it all over again, and it's just brilliant to see. But brilliant finish. Was involved in it was involved in the build up. Just top stuff. Just long may it continue.
Long may it continues, right, Pete? Just amazing for Miggy. Hopefully the run continues. Right, 40th minute. Willock ball in, and Longstaff diving header. 41 minutes, Bruno cleaned Adams out of it, and Bruno took it clear when Southampton were trying to press back into it. Now I can't say this guy's name, but El Hanani, that guy, that from Southampton. Eloise, that's it. Yeah, I wrote it down, but I can't even pronounce it. And then I can't read my writing if it was happening so fast. Yeah, he hit the side netting at 46 minutes. That was close actually. If they got back into it, then it might have been a different match. But he really should have scored that one. Then there was the Trippier and the potential hamstring slash cheek injury he had right before halftime. I was getting a bit worried then at that stage. But what anyone else a bit worried about Trips?
Yeah, I was a bit concerned. I mean, Pete put me concerns to bed when he said he was more holding his buttock than he was his thigh, which was good. And I was a bit concerned because of how late it was in the first half. I thought that maybe he's just trying to hang on in there, to wait till half time and then make the substitution then. But seeing him come out second half was great. He's so important to this team, Kieran Trippier. So delighted he's okay, and I'm sure he is as well, because I'm sure he probably thinks his ticket's booked on that plane.
It's been confirmed, I think. So let me just to squash any fears. Welcome Rich to the chat. But what happened to Wilson? I missed that precautionary. Is he badly injured? It was illness. Habs confirmed it was illness, so he just felt like he couldn't play on. But no concerns with injury there, which is great news. Trippier, he said he felt a slight strain in the top of his hamstring. But after half time, he felt he could play on, and obviously he did. Okay. So it's not a major concern. I don't think it'll be something that will keep him out of the Chelsea game personally. I don't think he'll play midweek anyway, but that's just kind of a little update there.
Okay, no, good. Thanks for that, Pete. Just as we're at the coming towards the halftime point here, just a reminder to anyone that's watching or watching on playback to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. The last two reaction shows, our last two shows we've done recently, we've got 299 likes. We want to push that. I think people can go 300, 350. Yeah. That is the target. That's the target for people. 350 likes for this show tonight. So get on, people. Very easy. Just click it. Okay, let's start it into the second half. And the big, and Pete, you've described it there where Wilson came off. But the big shit was Wood coming on and Wilson coming off. And I have wrote down Chris Wood to plank himself on the pitch. I take it back, Chris Wood. There's somewhere. Hey, somewhere. Summer's our mascot. Every time Summer comes on, we win.
You just keep coming on, don't you, babe?
But so on comes Wood. Trips is okay to play on. Then there was a few Southampton free kicks. 51st minute, Pope cuts out a cross ball. 55 minutes, the ball, a bad ball from Botman. When he makes a mistake, it's you go because it doesn't make mistakes. So he makes a mistake, but we put it straight to Walcott, and Adams put a volley wide. That was on the 55th minute. Then on our TV screens, we saw Adam P. Adam P is on Sky now, so great to see Adam P in the crowd. He's everywhere, Adam. So 58 minutes. Then Murphy kind of lost the ball, but it found its way to Chris Wood, and so Murphy with an assist. And what did Woody do? He only put it in the corner. Goal for Newcastle. Woody, who would have thought it? Definitely not me. But well done, Chris Wood.
some finish that, by the way. When you watch it back, he doesn't even look. He knows instinctively where he is, and it gets better. He's right in the bottom corner. Fantastic finish, that. Really, really good. Great for his confidence as well, especially if we decide to start Chris Wood against Palace in the week. I think, it's great for him. Great for him, to be... to now, have that under his belt, and he can take the confidence from that goal. Really good finish, and everyone, you could see all the other players were absolutely delighted for him. So really good.
You can't not be. You can't not be happy for him.
No.
Yeah, he's had stick from small sections of the fan base. You know, he spends his time on the bench where he might only get 5 or 10 minutes here and there. You know, on top of that, he doesn't really get many clear-cut chances, but then all of a sudden he pops up with a goal like that solidifies the win for us. Like you said, Chris, fantastic finish. What I loved about it is a proper old school striker's finish on the swivel. Comes from right to left, on the turn, bang, into that far corner. It's an instinct. It really is an instinct. Like you have to be a striker to know how good that finish is. Just a right to left, bang, swivel, shoot. You don't even have to look where the goal is. But he couldn't have put it any better. It couldn't have been an any better finish than what it was. And he deserves it. That confidence his confidence can be sky high after that. And I do think he's going to play midweek. So you know, if he does, that's great news for us. So fair play.
Good news for us, right? And thanks to Martin for the tweet after that highlight telling me that Wood scored. Thanks for that, Martin, reminding me. Right, next we move on to 61 minutes. Bruno battling and backing his own box, really. Trips goes on a little run, an absolute peach of a pass to Joe Willock, and Joe Willock toe pokes it home. 3-0 Newcastle. Great to see Joe Willock score. I've been willing him to score for so long, and I think it'll kick him on now. Pity we're going to run out of games and there's going to be a break, but he's just willing him to score for so long. And actually, here he is as well. Before I get your reaction, here he is after the game.
Hello, Newcastle fans. Big 3 points today. Thank you for all the 3,000 Geordies that travelled out to support us. It's a convincing win today, and we're happy we can get the 3 points. Come on, you Maggies.
Come on, you Maggies.
Yes, he hasn't done that for a while.
Hello,
he's back. Right, what do you make of that goal? Pete, we'll go to you first on that one.
Loved it. Loved everything about that goal. We're under the cosh a little bit at periods in that second half. Daz already talked about the earlier couple of chances that Southampton had. We went and got the second goal. We're under cosh again for a little bit. We then hit them on the break. Brilliant work from Trippier to steal in and win the ball. Plays that pass outstandingly well. And when Willock's going for on goal, when he's running with the ball at his feet, I don't think anyone's fast enough to catch him. He's just that quick. But what I really like about that is the finish. Some people will say, "Oh, it was a toe poke," but you know, it's manoeuvring the ball into a way in which the keeper can't get to it. It was a really, really good finish. The only place in the goal that he could have actually scored is that corner. And how early he takes the ball means that the keeper can't get in the right position to save it. He can't set himself. He's already coming out towards Willock. He takes it early, and then he has to kind of readjust himself, but it's too late. It's already in. Brilliant, brilliant finish. I said to Mike on the preview that we did on his show on Thursday, I said to him, I don't know why I had a feeling. He asked me who do I think will score. I said, I've got a feeling Willock's going to get a goal. And I'm so glad he did, because he deserves it. He deserves that goal. He's worked so hard. Could have had a goal against Fulham, got stolen by Callum Wilson, had other chances to score. He deserves that goal. And yeah, you could tell how buzzing he was by it.
Exactly, Pete. I still think it was a toe poke, but no, it was a great goal. I don't care how it goes in. Look at Almiron's goal to start off his run before. Chris, thoughts on Willock's goal?
Yeah, we were arguing over it in our house because, again, when we seen it live, my younger lad Callum, he was going to me, "Oh, he scuffed it." I went, "He hasn't scuffed it at all. He hasn't scuffed it." And then we watched it back like 2 or 3 times, and we agreed to agree that he's probably not hit it as sweetly as he wanted to. I said, "But he wants to put it in that bottom corner." And he went, yeah, he definitely wants to put it in the bottom corner. He went, "But he's not hit it how he planned on it in it." And I was like, "All right, you can have that. You can have that." But when the ball comes into him, you can see him looking in the corner, and he can see where the goalie's positioned, and he wants to put it in that corner. But to be fair, he's probably put it far deeper into the corner than what he'd expected. But great finish, and I made up for him, as Pete said, absolutely made up for him, because we said, didn't we, Pete, on away days, like the thing that the thing that Willock is lacking at the minute is a few goals to his game, and I think he's aware of that. So if he carries on, where we saw it, didn't we, on the loan spell with us? He kept scoring and scoring and scoring, and I think that goal now will give him the confidence. And every game we're watching, the goals are coming from all over the pitch, and it's just great to see. It's great that everyone's chipping in with goals. Long gone are the days where we were relying on centre backs to score, or ASM or Wilson. Now they're coming from all over the pitch, which is great. I had a feeling Murphy was going to score today, but didn't happen. But made up for Willock. Made up.
Definitely.
Let us move on.
Before we go on, lads, massive thanks to Ray for the £4.49.
Cheers, Ray.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate.
For anyone that donates to the channel, we really, really appreciate it. It means the world for us, and it just allows us to just improve things at the channel and keep things ticking over. So, yeah, any donation, really, really appreciate it. Top man, Ray. Thank you.
Cheers, Ray, and let us move on. Then we took us into 63 minutes. We're 3-0 up at this stage. Shelby come on, Murphy come off. 71st minute, Willock come off. ASM on, and Willock had run his socks off at that stage. A no let up from NUFC. Then our 79 minutes, Anderson on for Miggy. Mankia on for Trips. 86th minute, Wood gets his head in the way at the back doing his job. Both ends of the pitch. 88 minutes, Southampton goal. Again, I can't read my writing. I know it's the lad that nearly made it into the combined 11, but you got him out in the end. The French lad, what's his name? Peru.
Peru. He had to score him, didn't he? He had to score him. When we were talking about him, and then we took him out of our combined 11, and then he goes and scores. Typical.
Typical, right? To be fair. Look, Southampton weren't great, but Peru had a decent game. Anything that was decent from them tended to come down his side. But they scored.
Not to worry. 2 minutes later, Bruno gets a free kick, I think, first. And then he gets the ball back, and he plays a little 1-2 with ASM, and corner of the net. It's Bruno. He just passes the ball in, and here we are with his celebration as well up here. And I love this little one here. Celebration from Mario. That's very fun. Nice one. Nice little celebration. Hopefully we see plenty of them to come as well, Bruno. So that was Bruno's goal. I'm going to go to full time, and then I'm going to get your thoughts on Bruno's goal. Then we got to win the game 4-1 to us against Southampton. But your thoughts on Bruno's goal first, Chris?
Class. It was I at that point I was winding on my mates up, because all my mates were going, "Oh, you're doing all right, aren't you?" They're all Reds and Blues. And then I just wrote in the group chat, what was it I wrote? That was it. I said, have I mentioned we've got Bruno in the middle? He's just God. Like, the little 1-2 with Maxi, fantastic little dink round the corner from Maxi, and then Bruno composes it, takes a touch, buries it bottom corner, means absolutely every moment of it. And it was just amazing. I was made up for him scoring as well, obviously, but that's the class we've got. I said to our lads in the house, I was like, that's the best midfielder in the Premier League at the minute. Right there, you're watching him right there. He's just unbelievable. Absolutely love him. And it's just that's all I can say.
No, that's enough. That's enough, Chris. And we're glad you're able to say that after the amount of time you've been in the pub today. Pete,
that's a
Bruno's goal.
Brilliant. No, look, Bruno's class is simple as that. World class. That finish is underrated. It's not easy. It's not an easy finish. You look at how he's wrapped it around Salisu to be able to bend it into that corner, left the keeper just stranded. There was no way anyone was getting onto that. And if anyone can do it, it's Bruno. Wasn't his best game today by any means, but when you've got someone as good as him, he's just got one moment one moment to produce that little bit of magic, and he did, and it just ended the game as a contest. Because I think Hassan Hutel genuinely thought that there was a chance of potentially getting another goal at that point. I actually think he thought he could get back in the game. But when you got players as good as him, he'll just go, nah, not today. Bang, game over. But nice to see the little movements there with Maxi, the little 1-2s, the little passages of play. That was good to see between those two, building that relationship up again. But superb finish.
Nice. Yeah, so 4-1 Newcastle, the final score, and great to see Trips and Miggy, a little hug, and of course the obligatory team photo. Everyone's just waiting for this, and everyone assumes their rightful positions. Miggy is in the middle, not Bruno. Miggy's always in the middle for those other, and Howe is always at the back. Where's the security guard? Oh, he's there at the front. He changed position this week. He's on the left. So great to see that. Absolutely great result.
I was just looking. Is Callum Wilson in that photo?
Yeah, his mouth's covered in the front.
There.
He's got there you go. Yeah, he's got his snooze on
over his mouth. Whether that's because he's got a cold, he's not well, or whatever, I don't know. But
could be.
Yeah, that's why.
Cool. And I suppose the big talking point as well for Southampton is their Ralph could be gone. There's who you?
Oh no! It was to Dave R. I was doing the thumbs up to Dave as if to say no, that there's not an injury. And then when you said that at the same time, I was like, yeah, you're right.
What? They're giving him a reprieve. Yeah, so he's not officially gone yet, but he it's not looking good for him, let's say. And we look at we will look at the table now. We'll go straight to the table, because usually now when we look at this table, there we go. And where are we? What does that mean, Chris?
Love it.
Feels like it's getting louder as well. The more we move up the table, it kind of like gets a little bit louder, screams that a little bit more to you.
It's only at half mast at the moment. We can go full throttle come April. Right. Let me see. This is the table. We are sitting pretty in Eddie's top 3 mags. Are sitting pretty there at 27 points. What do you make of that? Of course, Liverpool picked up points today against Spurs. And yesterday, City clawed back a victory. Very lucky, or it would be neck and neck nearly with them. And Brighton picked up a victory as well because they were looking dodgy there. They get the results at the end. But and you know what? We'll just look at Southampton as well. Southampton are looking dodgy now on 18th spot. Things not that you can understand if they do make a change, they need to freshen it up a bit. What do you make of us, lad? Pete, we go to you first.
It's just an outstanding start to the season. It really is. We are just showing that this wasn't just a moment last season when we created that level of Champions League form in order to stay in the Premier League. A lot of people, I think, thought that might be just it, just to stay in the league. And I think we all, to a point, felt that might be the case. But what we've done, we've come into this season, we've just carried it on. But actually, we've done it so much better. I honestly believe that you can see there's a style of play to our game now. We play in a certain way, we defend in a certain way, we attack in a certain way. The transitions are there in between us having the ball and not. It is so good to see. And it just shows today that even when there's difficult conditions, when you've got a team that are fighting at the bottom of the league, who went into the bottom 3 yesterday, that are going to come out fighting, it shows that whether you're at the top and you're playing against someone like Tottenham or Man United, or whether you're at the bottom going against someone like Southampton, we can go up against any team and still play the same way and still be extremely difficult to break down as a team. Part of me can't believe it, but part of me isn't surprised because of how good we've been. There's nobody. You could put names on a piece of paper, right? And matches up with Tottenham, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, all of those teams. And yes, you would probably, or people would probably pick other players ahead of ours. But there is nobody that works harder than us. There's nobody that fights harder than us. There's nobody that runs faster and more than we do as a team. And it's just amazing to see. It really is. And there was a question that came up actually, and I'll put it up because I think it's quite fitting.
Is it from Yano where he asked, what does the X mean?
No. Well, yeah, we don't know what they are, what they stand for, but no, it's actually one of our brilliant sponsors, Russ, and he put to the panel again. I'm going to ask the question: can we do a Leicester now? I'm not saying that we are. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but you know the way we're playing and how formidable we are at the moment, it does kind of remind me a little bit like Leicester. Probably, actually, we're doing it better because we're probably scoring more goals than them. But I don't know what you think about
that. I'll go first, though. Because Chris is on mute. Maybe we'll go first. Yeah. So no, we're not going to do a Leicester. Look, we're absolutely delighted, over the moon, in shock and awe if we finish where we are now. We'll ride the roller coaster. Let's hope it keeps continuing going up. There will be ups and downs on this journey, but no, let's. You can think about us be doing a Leicester, but it's not going to happen. It's way too soon for that yet. And everyone else would have to be doing worse for us to be able to do a Leicester as well. And I think the season that Leicester won, the regular top four didn't have the best of seasons, so that's what enabled Leicester to get where they got to. So put it out of your mind. Don't be worried about that. Just be happy that we're in that top 8. That's what I say.
I'm gonna answer this like a little bit on the fence. I know I was on the fence on the other day with the score prediction, which I will apologise for. But you know what? That's kind of influenced my decision really. So the question is, can we do a Leicester? I think the answer is yes, we can. Will we? Probably not. But you know, we should strive to do a Leicester, and I think we should just carry on in the vein that we are. I mean, we saw today, particularly the first half, we weren't great. But we were grinding results out, and we're waiting for that moment. We wait for our moments, and then when we get the opportunity, we tend to take it. And even at 2-0, we didn't look great, and Southampton put us under a fair bit of pressure. I thought Southampton quite well today, actually. But again, we got the result we needed, and we had that little bit of extra quality on the pitch. And everyone's trying, everyone's trying for each other, and no one's shaking responsibility. Everyone's drilled in the same way. So I think, can we do a Leicester? It'd be very difficult to. But I mean, everyone probably saw yesterday when Man City scored that last-minute winner, and you saw the way Pep reacted. This isn't going to be, nice and easy for City. I think, Haaland's made a fantastic start to the season, but having this break as well for the World Cup, it only plays into our hands because we've probably got a handful of players who are going to the World Cup, and the rest are going to be going to Saudi Arabia, doing the all-weather training camp. And I think it's just going to make us stronger. I think we're going to come back stronger. And one of my mates actually, he messaged me today and he said, after this run you've had, you haven't really got a very difficult run in the Premier League. You haven't got a horrible period where you're looking, it's going to be tough. That. I think we said this at the start of the season, lads. There's no runs where you think, March is bad or April's horrendous. Yeah. They're spread out quite evenly. Not that it matters at the minute, because whoever we play, we give a bloody good game to anyway, don't we? But, yeah, I don't think we will do a Leicester, but hey, I bet at this time in the season Leicester won it. I bet if you ask Leicester fans that question, they'd have gone, no,
not a chance. Yeah.
But so, I don't think Leicester might have been or might not have been as high as what we are at this point right now, after 13, 14 games. But they do remind me a little bit of Leicester in that, look, I had to sit through that season, and so I do remember that season. And the one thing I remember watching Leicester and thinking is that, one, they're taking it game by game. They're not thinking ahead. 2, 3, 4 games. They literally took it 1 week to the next and said, right, who we got this week? That's our focus. That's who we'll prepare for, and that's what we'll do a job against. Secondly, they've got a side of play that teams just can't handle. Leicester did. Leicester had that Vardy press very, very high, the trickery of Mahrez on one side, the battle and the steal of N'Golo Kanté in the middle, and that little ball over the top from Drinkwater, and it just worked. It just worked. We have a different style. We have a very high press, all action type team, but across the whole pitch, we just don't stop. And I think when teams really struggle to know how to play against you, it does play into your hands. And you touched on it today, Chris. We didn't play well. We weren't great today at all. But in every good team, what you have is a moment in the game where you can completely obliterate a team. And we had that against Villa last weekend, where we had a 10-15 minute spell in the second half where we just obliterated them. Today, in the second half, we had that same moment, that 10-15 minutes where we just obliterated them. We were under the pressure, under the cosh in the second half, but we hit them twice. Bang, bang. 2 goals, Wood, Willock, game done. Like, that was it. That was the moment. And when you've got those moments in your team to create that opportunity of a blitz, you're able to win the game no matter what. Like, you've got that in your locker. So I just think, I'm not saying we're going to do a Leicester, but what I'm saying is that we've got the ability to maintain what we're doing right now, is probably what I'm trying to say. What we're doing is taking it game by game, attacking each team in a different way in which Howe sets us up. We've got that ability. Like you've just said, after Chelsea, we've got Leicester away. Then we've got Leeds at home. Then I think that I'm not sure we've got someone else. And then we've got Arsenal. And then we've got West Ham at home. Then we've got Palace away. You know, they're not games that you're worried about. Maybe Arsenal away is a tough one, but Leicester away, yeah, it'll be a tough game. They're doing all right at the moment. Leeds at home, for me, I think that we go and win that game. Arsenal will be the big test for us going to the Emirates, because we don't do well there. You know, West Ham at home, I think we can win. I think you've seen today how shit they can be. Hi, Lawless. See you on Tuesday. I've already had a bit of a battle with him today, by the way, anyway. I'll talk to you about that in a bit. But yeah, it is all been kicking off, trust me. So that should be fun. And Palace, hi D. I think we can go and win there too. So I think it's all up for grabs. Having a great season, I mean, not just a good season in Europe, but having a great season and finishing in one of those top spots.
So, Pete, in summary, there, have you us down to do Leicester?
I'm on the fence.
Yeah. Okay, we'll revisit it in a couple of months' time. See where we are then. But let's look at. Don't know. I don't think anyone will be shooting us if we do it Leicester and we win. Right. That is it for the table, more or less. And I know there's a few things I think came into the chat there, Pete, as well. A few shout outs. Yeah. Oh,
got one here. Donation from Stephen Nutkin, $8.99. Thank you very much for your donation. Really appreciate it. If you haven't already, click the likes and subscribes. Great to have you on. If anyone wants to put a donation on or a super chat or a sticker, feel free to. But do it with a question or a comment, and we'll come straight to it, and we'll answer your question. We'll put your comment out there. You don't need to leave it blank. If you want to say something, no matter how big or little it is, you've put your money in, you're donated to us, which we really appreciate. We'll get your comment and your question out there. So just to let everyone know in the chat and whoever's watching.
Cool, because I see 2 more, Pete. I see one from Andy Brett as well. Thanks, Andy, for the super sticker. And also one from Bobby. So thanks, Bobby. Yes, we accept yours. We accept Anthony. And thanks to you for bringing me a little closer to Tyneside. Feels lonely celebrating in France, but hope everyone's out in France, well out in France, and I hope you're doing a bit of scouting for us there, Bobby, because transfer window will be coming up in January, and we'll be talking all about players from all across the league. So good to get insider information on the market. But yeah, that's about it. Look, we're going to move away from the table, so and we'll get to the ratings. But I just want to remind people that if you haven't subscribed to us and it's your first time watching Loaded, hit the subscribe button. It's free, and also hit that like button, because we have a target. We want to get 350 likes for this show. We've got 299 for 2 shows I saw, so we want to hit that 350. We want to blow 300 away and get 350 likes. And also, we are not far away from the 5K as well. We should mention that we're about. What was that? we've got about...
I was just doing a check. We've got 108 likes currently in the live chat. So currently 108 thumbs up. Currently 108 likes. Target 300, as Daz said. 350.
350.
So
350.
still many more to click on there at this moment in time. Sorry, Daz, I interrupted.
No, that and we're actually less than 300 away from the 5K. So on the subscription,
Wow.
so just hit subscribe. It's free as well as likes. Lads, let's go to the ratings. This is the interesting part, and everyone in the chat plays along as well. Radio, and I know Pete, you're keeping an eye on the questions as they come in, because we will do questions towards the end of the show as well. Unless you want to take a question now, Pete.
We can do. I just want to say thanks to Roy. Not sure if you saw this one earlier. Thank you, Roy, for your super sticker. Daz, did you put that one on earlier? No, I didn't think so. But yeah, thank you for that, Roy.
Cheers, Roy.
Appreciated. Right, let's see.
While you're looking there, Pete, I see 2 more have come in, and because I've only seen half of these. Kevin as well. Thanks very much for the donation to the channel. And Ian has also put one in. And Ian, I never believed in God. Then anyhow, it happened. True.
Yes,
we're
with you on that one, Ian. So love that one. So Pete, let's go with that question.
Yeah, it's not really much of a question. This one in particular, it's just more of a comment from, and he's put so R4DD's put, we can be no lower than 4th when we sit down for Christmas, and that's right. Absolutely right. Absolutely spot on. So we are going to be Eddie Howe's top 4 mags come Christmas Day, which is an amazing feat already, and we're not even going into the Chelsea game at this point. So that's a fantastic achievement all round. But yeah, a question here from Life Goals, really. Looking ahead to Wednesday, thoughts on starting midweek with ASM, Joe Linton, Wood, Fraser, Target, Anderson, Shelby, and Lascelles in the side. What are your thoughts about that?
That would be okay, because for me, I really want them to win or get at least a draw. Chelsea, I think they could win it. But I think some of these lads need some game time, so it wouldn't be a bad thing. And sure, Crystal Palace will mix it up a bit as well. So yeah, why not? And have some of our other players on the bench, that if we need to go to the bench for the second half or something to tweak it, to go for it, or if it's close, just to switch it up a bit. Yeah, Wood is going to be slow. He scored today, but he's going to be slow. We're probably going to start him. I'd like to see Wilson there on the bench if we needed to bring him off the bench, though. If it were still 0-0 heading into 65th minute mark, give him a bit of a run out. But yeah, I wouldn't be unhappy if most of those or all those got a run out.
What do you think, Chris?
I think we've got to mix the squad up. I know that people will say, we want a cup run, and absolutely we do. And there'll be a couple of players that you probably, don't want to drop, if you like. Well, not that we're dropping them, but you know what I mean. We don't want to vest. But we've got to have that Chelsea game in mind. I think it's so important. We've got a fantastic opportunity today. We've got a fantastic opportunity on, I think it's Saturday, isn't it? Yeah, it's Saturday, to pick up another 3 points. So I'd have no problem with Eddie rotating. There'll be a couple of players, as I say, who you want to keep in there. Joe Linton, yeah, definitely bring Joe back so that he's ready for Chelsea. ASM, similar, maybe give him 60, 70 minutes. Woods, I think, if Callum Wilson's not 100%, rest him, put him in cotton wool for the weekend. Fraser, Target, yeah, definitely. I'll tell you what I did notice today, boys, and I know we may touch upon it a bit later on in the player ratings. Did you see Elliot Anderson for the Peru goal?
No.
In terms of what, not being in position?
Yeah. And I thought that's why Eddie Howe isn't, everyone's clamoring for him to, start games and stuff. I thought he just switched off momentarily. And I'm not having a go at Elliot Anderson here, but all I'm saying is that's where your experience comes in. And I thought, that's probably why Eddie Howe's easing him in. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't want to absolutely shoot down his confidence. But I did, when I watched the goal back, I seen Elliot Anderson and I thought, ooh, you let him go there. And then Dan Burns comes flying across to try and stop it. And some people will go, oh, Burn, he jumped in, he shouldn't have had to. But Elliot Anderson lost his man. And that's why Dan Burn come flying across to try and stop it. But that wouldn't have happened if Elliot Anderson was switched on. But again, I'm not criticising or having a go. It was just an observation, and I thought that might put some things to bed. I
agree with you. He did switch off, and Dan Burn had to do that because most players would have shot. Most players would have shot when Perud cut back inside, because he was on his favoured foot. So it was the natural thing to try and jump in front. And how many times has Burn done that and actually saved as a goal by making that sort of last-ditch lunge? Yeah. But it was a nice little chop back into the side of his right and then finished it nicely. There's nothing we could do after that point. And to be fair, we got pulled apart during that passage of play because, Burns coming over as a right-back. Manquillo should have been there. Burns should have been over on the left-hand side, but because they'd had a switch around, because I think we'd just defended a corner or defended a passage of play, they stayed in their positions. So we weren't set as a team. If we were set as a team, we wouldn't have conceded that goal. So it was all a little bit messy at that point, but Anderson should have pressed the ball better. But we did that a lot in the game. I don't know if you noticed in the first half, we managed, at times we were very easy to play through. In little small sections of the game, it was always ever one pass that would break through on midfield. It didn't happen all the time. Our press was normally very good, and we worked and won the ball back. And even when they did play it through in that one pass, we'd always get back and recover the ball. But it was a slight concern, particularly in the first half, that they just kept getting through a little bit too easy. Like we weren't making it hard for them. They weren't great players and they weren't great balls, but they just seemed to be getting through. And it almost felt like we were pressing too hard, that we weren't able to stay in position and we were losing our kind of structure a little bit. But it's to be expected in these games. It happens. But yeah, it's definitely one that we need to keep an eye on with the likes of Eddie Anderson, because at this moment in time we haven't got any opportunity to let up. Like we have to keep going and we have to keep plowing through.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, Chris. Just before we go to the ratings, I want to give a shout out to Sophia. Hey lads, there's a lot of sour grapes from Saints fans. A few channels seem to think that their performance didn't deserve the result. Maybe they've had a few points. Perhaps.
I thought, do you know what? I thought Southampton played well. I actually, you could argue, having watched that game, you could argue that 4-1 flattered us a little bit, but we deserved the 3 points. We absolutely deserved the 3 points. But I don't think, anybody who didn't watch the game and looked at the score, they go, "Oh, Newcastle battered Southampton," and we didn't. I don't think we did batter them. It was just, we took our goals, we took our chances very well. But I thought Southampton played quite well, actually. I've seen teams play far worse and get something. So, but yeah, we deserved 3 points, no doubt.
Definitely. Okay, let's move on to ratings. I've talked about it long enough. Let's go straight in with Popey. Popey, he had a few saves to make at different points in time. I know there was one goal let in. The defense leaked a goal in the end. Was the dying stages of the match. I'm giving Popey an 8. Pete.
Yeah, exactly the same. Give him an 8. Came out and collected very well. Made a couple of good saves. Nothing you could do about the goal. But apart from that little slip, and it was horrible conditions where he dropped the ball in the first half and came to collect it. Other than that, he really didn't put a foot wrong. So yeah, I would agree. 8.
Just before you ask the question, I had 8 in my mind. Yeah, totally agree. I thought Pope played quite well today. Couldn't have done anything for the goal. But yeah, no, I thought he did really well. He made some good saves, came out well, as Pete said. Yeah, 8.
Right, so let's move on to our captain and leader, our captain on the pitch. Of course, Lascelles is our captain off the pitch and gets the armband when he comes on, but it's Trippier I'm talking about there. Yeah, he had the scare at halftime. I think we all had a bit of a panic when we saw that. But he set up the goal for Willock. I'm giving Trips a 9.
Yeah. Gotta get a 9 for me. Trips was absolutely class. Brilliant as always, going forward and getting back. And playing with a slightly strained hamstring, or a tight hamstring, should we say, and still playing like that and being able to assist. A fantastic ball for Willock. Yeah, a 9 in my book all day long.
Chris?
9. Totally agree. Definitely a 9. As Pete said, ploughed on even when he wasn't 100%. Put his body up for the cause. So yeah, fantastic.
Next, we move on to Superman and Botman. Shar, I'm giving Shar a solid 8. He didn't put his foot wrong all game, but you just come to expect it now. So I'm giving him an 8. Chris.
Yeah, I'd say 8 for Shar. Got something to say on Botman, but yeah, I'd say 8 for Shar. Typical. Well, I'd say a typical centre-back performance what you want to see. You don't really have much to say about him, but that's because he did his job effectively. There was no scares. He didn't lunge in. Positionally, I thought he was really good. Comes out with the ball well, spraying the ball. Yeah, 8 for me. Thought he had a good game.
Pete.
9 for me. I could have quite easily given him a 9.5. I thought Shaw was probably our best defensive defender at the form. Yeah. I thought he was brilliant. Didn't put a foot wrong. Good use of the ball. Defended like an absolute Trojan, like he tends to do every single week. Just outstanding for me again. Fabian Shaw, 9. Tops.
Right, on to his defensive partner in Botman. I mentioned that bad pass that went to Willock. That then Che Adams had that volley.
With a nice little stat there.
Botman's still yet to lose a game. So yeah, that's true, Shane. And great to see Shane back as a member as well. Actually, I saw Shane sign up for a member again. But Botman, class again as always. And there was one sliding tackle. He just goes for it as well. So I'm giving them the same as Shar. I normally difference between them, but I'm going to give them equal 8. Pete.
I'm going to give Botman an 8 today. I wasn't. By his own lofty standards, I wasn't pleased with him. I wasn't. Look, defensively, like Shaw, he's a Trojan. He defended everything really well. He gave Che Adams absolutely nothing in the game. He was brilliant whenever he came out down his side. And it will go. The reason why it's probably not even lower is because of what he had to do additionally in his game. But for me, why it's not a 9 like Shaw is his distribution was poor. And it's his second game. And Chris, I know you're going to say the same, aren't you?
Yeah. I thought it's just defensively fine. And do you know what, Pete? As soon as you said 8 for Botman, I was thinking, shit, I was going to give Botman an 8. And then I'm thinking, well, Shaw was head and shoulders above Botman today.
Yeah.
I'd have just given Shaw an 8. I'll probably have to give Botman a 7.5. Or maybe upgrade. I don't know.
But this is why I gave Shaw a higher mark. Shaw was both good with the ball and without the ball.
Yeah, he was.
Botman today, and I'll be honest, this is the second game running, because actually watching the Villa game, he wasn't great with the ball either. He had a few good switch plays, decent with the ball at Villa, but there was a couple of times where he needlessly gave the ball away, even in the first few seconds, I think, actually, in the Villa game, he put the ball out for a throw. I think it was Villa. It might have been the game before. I can't remember. But again, it's his distribution is needlessly giving the ball away and putting pressure on us. We nearly got punished for it in the second half. And for me, he needs to improve that. It's not playing in France where you might be able to get away with a bad pass when you get punished in this league. But defensively, outstanding. Like, you cannot argue it at all. Complete Rolls Royce, solid, absolute defender. But with the ball at his feet, needs to be better. That's 2 games in a row now. You guys know I'm his biggest fan, but I'm also honest, and I'll say when a player, no matter how much I love him, is not good enough. And for me, the overall package of Sven Botman today wasn't what it should have been.
Lads, I just want to interrupt and say a shout out to Mike, who was on a wait list with Pete and Chris the other night. Congrats, boys! 4 shots on target and 4 goals, clinical. All the best for the season. Vlog is up on my channel now. If you fancy watching a Saints fan getting his soul destroyed,
definitely go and watch
down
it
for later.
After this show, go and watch it, because it's always a good watch, and they do put a good vlog together. Bless them. And just for Mike, if you're still watching, I told you Willock would score. I told you.
Radio. And that was a nice one from Mike. Fair play as well. We're moving on. We're moving on to Dan Burn, Big Dan Burn. Again, I'm putting Big Dan Burn in. For me, he's getting the same as Shar and Botman. I'm giving him an 8. Didn't do anything wrong. He did try to cover for that goal that went in, and wasn't really his fault whatsoever. I'm giving him an 8 because the standout for me in the back line today was Trips, and that's why I gave him the 9. So Burn 8. Pete, go to you first.
Might be controversial here. I'm going to give Burn a 7.5. I don't think Burn had a good game at all today. I thought he was lost in his positioning a lot in the first half, and I think that was a big downfall in Botman's game. Botman had to cover him on that left-hand side so many times and got pulled out of position, where Southampton nearly had a couple of chances, particularly in the first half. He picked up his game about 10 minutes into the second half and was okay after that point, but that first half was not good. It was really, really poor. And it wasn't like he was coming up against a really good, like fantastic right-sided attacking midfielder, that he wasn't. So I expected better from Burn. So yeah, I thought that's one of his worst performances, and Gareth Southgate was watching again today. Not the performance I expected from Burn. Had a great run, but that wasn't a good performance for me.
Chris, thoughts on Big Dan Burn?
He was probably below Botman and Shah. I think like Pete, I think 7.5 is probably fair. Absolutely right, Pete. You know, first half he didn't look very comfortable on the ball. Although to his credit, second half he did improve. But yeah, 7.5 is probably fair. I mean, this is the mad thing, though, isn't it? Like, you know, we were so close to getting a clean sheet, probably 5 or 6 minutes away from a clean sheet, and you know, we're being quite critical, I know, because we are playing so bloody well, and even a 7.5, everyone's probably like, ooh, 7.5, you know. We used to give it out like 4s and 5s a couple of years ago. So like 7.5, it's like
a year ago.
Yeah, it's like so. Yeah, 7.5, but yeah, I think it was probably because of his shaky start in the first half. But yeah, I don't want to roast him kind of thing. But yeah, maybe he'll be one who sits out on Wednesday, because maybe he just needs that little bit of a break, because he's kind of been an all present Dan Burn, so maybe he just needs a bit of a break, perhaps.
I just having flashbacks of Richie giving someone a 4 at one stage, but I can't. It wasn't too long ago either. So
was that this season?
I don't know when it was.
Can't have been this season. Can't have been.
Could have been at the start of the season, but I'll have to ask him. That's note that one down. Ask Richie who gave it for that.
Yeah, because we only lost one game. That was against Liverpool. I know all our players got 7s and 8s and 9s.
Richie's hard. He's a tough cookie to try and crack.
We had a great run to the back end of last season.
You won't give anyone half marks either. Right.
Or one person.
Right, we move on. Let's go to Bruno. Here he is. Here's Bruno. Again, passing sublime, disrupting the play, breaking it down. His goal, amazing again. Bruno. I'm going to give him 9.5 for Bruno.
I'd give him Bruno a 9. It would have been an 8.5 if he did not scored that world-class finish. It wasn't his best game. He wasn't at his firing self. But he can't be expected to play at that level every single game. But even with his little drop off today, he was still miles above anything that Southampton had in their midfield, which tells you everything you need to know about the player. But yeah, it was an 8.5 up until those few minutes when he scored that wonder goal. So I'll give him a 9.
Chris.
Unfortunately, boys, I'm going to have to shoot, but I'm going to give you my Bruno score, and then I'm going to give you my man of the match. So Bruno, I'm going to give Bruno an 8.5. I don't think it was his best game, but yeah, he just oozes class, doesn't he? And even he makes what I feel sorry sometimes for Bruno is he makes the seemingly difficult things look very easy. That's probably to like his disadvantage, if you like, because a lot of players can't do what he can do. With him spraying the ball and just the way he even just makes the simple passes, he ticks us over really nicely. So yeah, I'm going to say 8.5 because I don't think it was his best game, but he's just world class. As Pete said earlier on in the show, he is just world class, and that goal was sublime, absolutely great. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna have to love you and leave you, but
Going back
I
to
will
pub.
carry on. No, I'm not going to the pub now. I need to go and have a coffee and go and relax a bit. But yeah. Yeah, definitely. I can already feel myself falling asleep. But one thing I will say before I go, man of the match, Joe Willock.
I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, boys, absolute pleasure. Thanks to everyone in the chat. It's been great, and I'll catch up with you very soon.
Yeah, pleasure.
See you there, Chris. Have a good night.
See you later, guys. Take care. See you
later, mate.
See you there. Bye, Summer.
Bye.
I love it.
Chris will be in now at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, so have a great night out in the pub, Chris. Fair play for coming on, Chris. We didn't think you would make it. You just jumped on the last second as the titles were rolling. But we have done Bruno. Let us move on to Sean Langstaff. This time last week, Pete, we were calling for him to be looked at by England after the World Cup. He's still doing well. He's still that he could have potentially put that ball in the net at the start of the game, but it was offside anyway. But he was everywhere. He was popping up in different places. And Sky gave him their man of the match. Actually, I gave him an 8.75 for Sean Longstaff. Your thoughts on Shawnee?
Sean Longstaff, my man of the match.
Ooh.
Outstanding performance today. Didn't score, as far as I'm aware, didn't get an assist. But I tell you what, his role in the team was pivotal why we won the game today. He was brilliant and really, really showing his quality in that midfield. Really, really he's impressing me every game he plays. He's getting better as a player. Honestly, the ground he covers as that sitting midfielder, he gets forward, he links the play left, right to move players up the pitch. His constant pressing. You would have seen in the first half, he'll be in a sitting position 1 minute and then pressing the goalkeeper the next, then back in a sitting position. Then he'll be linking the play right. Then he'll be linking the play left. He does not stop running, and he's so intelligent with the ball. He doesn't do anything outstanding with it, but he just keeps it ticking over. He is the cog that keeps that midfield ticking, that allows Bruno and Willock to do what they do, that allows the defense to play the way they play. He's becoming a really important part of this team, and I'm really, really impressed with him. For me, I agreed with Sky 100%. Even before they said he was the man of the match, it was very close between him and Willock. Willock scored a brilliant goal and was all action, taking on players. It could have been either, I don't think you could argue with either of them being man of the match. But for me, Sean Longstaff. We've criticised him over the years for not being good enough. But I tell you what, when he is good enough and he's playing a pivotal role in the team, I've got to give him his flowers. I've got to give him his praise, and he deserves that today. So I'm going to give Sean Longstaff a 9.8.
9.8. Wow, nice one, Pete. No, I agree with you. He's come on leaps and bounds. He's really been howled recently, and it's great to see. Right, we will move on to Joe Willock. For me, he was strong. He was winning the ball back. His goal. We've been waiting so long for him to score that goal as well. I know he came off in the 71st minute, but how was protecting him. But for me, he did everything right, and it's been building and building and building. He's getting a 10 from me, Joe Willock. Just my man of the match today.
Yeah, Joe Willock, 9.5 for me. I thought, again, it could have been either of those two players. They really kind of set the tone for that pressing. And what I liked about Joe Willock today that he was doing a lot more of, he was willing to take on players in tight spaces. So he was getting the ball tight on the byline. And instead of just looking back and just playing it backwards and just kind of being that negative mindset, that just keep the ball nice and safe play, turn back, play it to the left back, and then keep possession going. He was going, you know what? No, I'm going to turn on you and I'm going to run at you. And he did it a few times to their right back, who ended up having to go off with a hamstring injury, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he kept stretching him. He kept stretching him the other way. The one thing that we were always told as players growing up, stretch your defender because they don't like going backwards. They like going forwards and attacking, but they don't like going backwards. They don't like players running at you. And that's what Joe Willock does. He gets the ball and he runs at you and he creates problems off the back of it. He was very, very good today. So, yeah, again, another player that's really improving. And like Sean Longstaff, would have maybe caught the attention of Gareth Southgate, not for the World Cup, but certainly as an option maybe for the future England squads if they continue their form. But yeah, very, very good today, Willock.
No, that's fair enough, Pete. Let us move on to Miggy Almiron. Running as always. The press. He got his goal as well. And here he is. For me, I'm giving Miggy a 9. He came off as well on the 79th minute, but did nothing wrong again, running all over the place. We've come to expect it now from Miggy, and another goal to add to his collection. Your thoughts on Miggy, Pete?
Miggy, yeah, another brilliant performance. I'm going to give him a 9 today. Maybe in game wasn't as all action as we normally see him in terms of being involved in a lot of the build-up play, a lot of the work. He still does the running and he still works back and forth, but maybe not as integral as what he has been in previous weeks. But again, still scored the important goal, the goal that put us 1-0 up, and it was a great little move in itself. So a 9 for me, another great performance. It keeps that run going. And look, there was a question in here that I was going to give to you and Chris, but he's gone. So I'm just going to try and see if I can find it. I know what it is. Yeah, it's from Nobby Clark. Welcome, Nobby, in the chat. It's put questions. Do you reckon Almiron is going to break Vardy's record? If I'm thinking right, Vardy's either 12 or 13 goals in a row. I think it might. It's either 12 or 13 goals in a row. Miggy's on 7, if I'm right in thinking currently.
And is it in a row? Because someone else put in the chat earlier that it wasn't in a row. I can't remember now.
No, so Miggy scored 8 this season, but he scored 7 in a row.
Okay.
So Miggy's on 8 goals for the season because I think in one of the other games,
Kane in the goal scoring chart. Okay, let's assume that's correct, right? But no, he's not going to break the record. No, he's not a striker. He's playing in the front three, but no. And he doesn't take the penalties either. Sure, Vardy takes the penalties for Leicester, or he did at that point anyway. So no.
Okay.
Prove me wrong, Miggy. Prove me wrong.
There you go.
again.
There you go. And look, I'm just gonna throw this out there now. We've already talked about this man already, but Geordie Team for Life actually agrees with me on my prediction or my my mark for Burn. Like,
It's the end of the world.
it really is. It's like the apocalypse. What is going on right now? But yeah, I'm glad you saw what I saw, Geordie Team for Life. But the game's about opinions, and we always appreciate it.
Right, let us move on to Murphy. Murphy, for me, I have him down as a 7. I know he must have got an assist for the one for Wood, where he kind of fumbled it and went to Wood and he scored then. Well, didn't really do much for me, Murphy. Maybe you saw something different, people. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. I'll probably give him a 7 today. He was quite quiet. It was probably one of his more quiet games today. Didn't really do anything that set the world alight. Yeah, it was just kind of like he just played a very simple role in the team. If I'm honest with you, so yeah, nothing more to say.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on from Murphy. We'll go to Wilson. Wilson, who came on off at halftime. Of course, he was sick during the week as well, and you still see him in the team photo here. He still has that balaclava thing on to keep, or snood, whatever you call it, to help him there, not to spread it to others. But I'm giving Wilson a 7.5.
100% agree. I had that in my head.
Yeah.
7.5. Not his best game. I wasn't really in it, but was involved in the move for the first goal. So fair play to him for that. But I almost feel, I don't know about you, and about people in the chat, I almost feel that, and I have done for a couple of games now, that Wilson's kind of playing within himself. Mm-hmm. He's kind of playing him to keep himself fit and not to get any major injuries in order to make the World Cup squad. I do feel that that's the case now.
Against Villa, no. I wouldn't have thought that against Villa, because he was in a hat-trick, wasn't he?
But why do you think that might have been? Who was there watching him?
Yeah.
And that's
the same man that was there today.
Yeah, he was. Very true. But I just that's just kind of my thoughts. He's trying to kind of, get himself to the Chelsea game. I don't think he'll play Wednesday. I think he'll play against Chelsea, and then Gareth will obviously make his. Or is his squad named this week?
No,
it's this week.
I thought it was like
the following week.
I saw somewhere someone said the 10th, and then someone said the 14th. This is the last possible date for the squad. So it's probably not confirmed until after the last
the 10th is this week.
Yeah, but it's probably the 14th where because they'll play the last round of Premier League games, because someone could get injured there then, and then go for the confirmed one around that 14th November mark, I'd say.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And Geordie Team for Life's just confirmed Miggy has only scored 4 in a row. And it was because of the game at Old Trafford. Well reminded. Brilliant stuff. So he's a lot further back in the record than we thought. But look, he scored 8 goals this season, which is just. I think I put at his most. I thought he'd score 8 or 9. I think he's going to get into double figures this season, the way he's playing quite comfortably. So
that would be unbelievable. Like from where he was again, and his records before that, unbelievable. Look, do you want to give Woody a rating, because he played 45 minutes? We don't normally rate the subs, but should we give Woody a rating?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, right. Okay, Woody came on at halftime. I'm his biggest critic. I always criticize Wood at the pace, and I'm backing over with Martin and myself on Wood. But he came on. He scored that goal, and he also got his head in on the 86th minute, as I mentioned in the walkthrough again of the game. So I'm giving Woody an 8.25.
Right. Okay. I'll give Wood an 8. I thought he did really well. Thought he held up the ball well. Thought he won a number of flick-ons, ran himself into the ground, scored a great goal. Defensively, he was winning headers and in those defensive roles, to keep them out for as long as possible. Yeah, I'll give him his flowers for this one. He deserves an 8 for that. Well done.
Wow, a lot of flowers being given out by
when they
Davey
deserve
today.
to be handed out, they need to be handed out. We've been in. How long have we been giving match ratings and opinions on Newcastle players under the Bruce years and giving 2s, 1s, 4s, 6s, barely getting above 8s, and now we're giving 8s and 9s. And to be fair, it brings me to a comment that I can't remember who put it out.
While you're looking for the comment, I'll just say you can hand out those flowers, because I like yourself, I'm a hay fever sufferer, so you can hand them out. I'm staying well clear.
Yeah, I made sure I'm well dosed up for that. But it was Yano that mentioned it. But let's get real. We conceded a goal, gave up numerous chances, and you've scored the back 4 8s and 9s. Well, look, we did concede a goal. To be fair, for me, I thought a lot of the back 5 were very good. And when we've conceded 1 goal but yet scored 4 and actually been relatively comfortable for most of the game, I think, in my opinion, they deserved quite high marks. But we've got to remember, these guys don't get just marks for not conceding a goal or conceding a goal. Trippier got an assist and was very good attacking wise. Yeah. Shaw was very good on the ball. Botman was defensively solid and didn't give Shea Adams a sniff whenever he was on his side, although his distribution wasn't good, which is why his mark was down. Byrne really was the only one that got a lower grade because he was kind of not destroyed, but he kept getting beat time and time again on that left-hand side. I don't know. Would you agree with that, Daz, or would you say we are being sort of oversubscribing with the marks?
No, well, I just recall back because I give my marks to people as I'm watching the game. So what I do is I give my marks at halftime, and then as it's coming close to the end of the game and our players come off, I'm giving their marks. Then I'm writing down on my sheet of paper. So, and maybe I wrote those marks down before that last goal came in, but I still stick by them. And they've been on a great run, like conceding only a handful of goals this season. They deserve it. And yeah, maybe we've been hard on the likes of Murphy and Wilson, but like Wilson only played half the match and he wasn't on the best form, as in like he's health wise. And Murphy, he's been waiting for his chance. He got his chance to start, and they didn't do much today that stood out for me. So that's why he's getting a lower mark. So yeah, I can justify it. I think from what we've given, I think that they're pretty fair, the marking system we've used.
Yeah, definitely. George 2 for Life said Thursday afternoon is the announcement of the squad. So yeah, okay. Sounds about right with regards to the 10th.
But then he can change it then, I presume, because look, some players could get injured over that weekend, and then he'd finalize it then on the 14th or something like that.
Yeah, there's normally a little moment in which things can get changed. So yeah, absolutely right. Cheers for putting that out, guys. Appreciate it as always.
Yeah, but you might, because I know Eddie Howe said it on Sky before the game as well, that that he talks to Wilson about England, but his priority is Newcastle and doing the business for Newcastle, and then that can lead to England. But if he gets put in the squad, he still has to go full hell for leather in the game against Chelsea, and you don't want him seeing getting injured, but you also want him to give 100%. I'm sure he will first. So I don't actually like that they're announcing the squad before that last rounds of games.
Yeah, it can go either way. It can boost a player and really motivate them to give everything. But yeah, it can go the other way for certain players, and they can kind of like hold. You'll probably find this next weekend. There'll be a lot of players who are so close to the World Cup, who are on the peripheries of things. Bruno's one of them as well, because he didn't start. They start kind of playing within themselves. I hope we don't see that from Newcastle, because Chelsea's a massive game. Someone else in the chat earlier on today mentioned it. In fact, I've got it here. It's Keith. Chelsea winless in their last 4 Premier League games, lost to Arsenal, Brighton, drew to Man United, and Brentford. and have a tough Carling Cup midweek game this week away at Man City, playing before Newcastle. So it's not easy for Chelsea, you know. And I'll be honest with you, for anyone that watched that game today against Arsenal and they were at home, they did not look good at all. They really did not look good. They were not impressive. So if we're on it, if we've got the crowd behind us, the war flags, the boys are up for it 100%, there's no reason why we can't go and win it.
And I suppose as well, Pete, like the Chelsea players are going to be in the same situation. There's a few of them head into the World Cup as well, and will be named in squads. So, you know, it's an even playing field when it comes to that. That's really it on the rating. So let's maybe go to any questions that have come up, Pete.
Yeah, there's been a few that have popped up. Question from Russ: tattoo if Miggy breaks the record, Des?
I think it's, if he's on 4 and he's got like 12 or 13 to break, yeah, that would probably warrant a tattoo. And I think Russ also had it in that he was going to get a tattoo as well. And hold my hand if Newcastle won the league. That's probably what I'd sign up to as well. But note, I'm signing up to these, not the one I was forced into before. I was nominated for. Yeah. But yeah, interesting, Russ.
Interesting. Very interesting. Not necessarily a question, but a comment from Ian. We still have Isak to come back. We do forget this sometimes, that Isak is only played 3 games for us, £60 million signing. He's barely kicked a ball. It's crazy to think. Absolute madness. It really is. But and he said it's getting silly now. What the hell is going on? He's absolutely right. Right. This is just one for me and Chris really quickly. Yes, our children both, well, mine support Newcastle. I think one of his boys supports Everton, if I'm right. But clearly Summer, who comes on our show all the time, clearly she's a Toon fan. There's no doubt about it.
And my little boy supports Newcastle as well. He doesn't know it yet, but he shouts for Newcastle with me, so that's the main thing.
That's as good as being a supporter. Yeah. You know that. Right, the life goals. But hi, boys. I think the break might actually suit us to get our players fit and rested. People like Miggy aren't going to the World Cup. Do you think it's a good thing that the World Cup's coming right now, Daz? Or do you think, or are you someone that thinks, right, you know, we forget the World Cup, we should keep playing and just keep riding the wave?
Yeah, we keep playing when they all bugger off the World Cup. Yeah. I am kind of just a bit disappointed that the World Cup is happening now, because the run we're on. But at the same time, when we come back, all these clubs, or all the top 6 kind of clubs are playing in Europe, so they'll have more games than us, as well as the domestic competitions to contend with. So we're still in a good position. My only worry is, right, it's not a worry, but it's like, if we're going to be getting into Europe, now we're looking like we're sitting pretty, that it's the next season, and if we don't qualify for the Champions League and we're in the Conference League that we would have snapped our hands off at the start of the season, we won't have as big an advantage to try and get into the top 4 next season. So if we're going to be going for Europe and we're still in those positions, let's keep it going. Let's try and get into the Champions League first off and bypass all the other European competitions. We won't be disappointed if we get to those, but it's the advantage we have of not having to play European games now, where we probably won't have that advantage next season. So we need a bigger squad, of course, as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We will. Definitely. Something we need to prepare for. But look, I think we more than trust Eddie Howe and Ashworth and Eels to make sure that we have that squad ready if and when, or more so when, we get European football. Certainly the way we're playing at the moment, it has to be within that consideration. Michael again said, not a question, but 3rd place, who would have thought this 12 months ago? Trust the process. Eddie White's black and white army. You're absolutely right. David R., I'm assuming you're at the game today. It says, drinks are flowing in Southampton tonight, lads. That was pretty special. Away end, absolutely rocking. Nice. David, if you were there, I am supremely jealous of you. I would have loved to have been dancing in the rain, supporting the boys as they put on that brilliant performance. But look, I'm glad you were there. You got any pictures or anything? Please send them across so we can share them on your behalf. That'd be fantastic. Rich mentioned this. I don't know if you noticed this, Daz. He put Botman looked fuming when he lost his clean sheet. Elliot Anderson and Manclio well out of position. It was actually Burn. We talked about that earlier, Rich. But yeah, did you see Botman's reaction, Daz?
No,
went in.
No, I didn't. I didn't see Botman's reaction. Well, I suppose, yeah, that's right. Mankio had come on at that stage as well. It was down his side. So what was Byrne doing over there? Like,
well, they'd swapped because of the corner.
Ah, right. Okay.
I think there was a corner, or they were defending a free kick. One of the two. And what it meant is that they'd ended up having switched positions. I think it might have been a corner, because sometimes they man the opposite posts. So you've got your favoured foot that comes in to clear it off the line. So I think they were opposite sides. So when the ball's gone out, they've stayed on the opposite side. So Manclear was left, Byrne was right, and they've then not swapped over. So the passage of plays continued. Then the ball's come back over, played through, and Byrne's been the one on the right-hand side, which is, I said it earlier, if they were in the right positions, I don't think we'd have conceded the goal.
Yeah.
But that's basically what happened. So it wasn't necessarily Mancilio out of position. He was, essentially, but it was because Byrne should have been there. But Byrne reacted quite late to that as well. But again, I think we talked about Elliot Anderson being a little bit off track in terms of tracking the guy. They put the ball through. So
yeah, but look at that. Yeah, and I'm sure that they'll run through it in training sessions. They'll play it back, and then he will watch it back again with no commentary, as he says, and he'll pinpoint toward the areas of weakness and improve on it. But look at 4-1, we'd have taken that. I had this down as a 1-0 and a victory for us. I know Chris had 2-2. I think you had it down as 2-0, Pete. So look, to come away with 4-1 winners, happy days.
All day. Definitely. I think Mark Todd someone mentioned that we've broken our record for the longest unbeaten run. Don't know if that's true. I don't know personally. We've got our 00 Stato in the chat, Keith Roll, whether he can confirm that it's our longest
I've got another stat, Pete. It was Dominic's sure that put it out, and I think Keith could have referred to it earlier in the comments as well. But Newcastle's points total of 27 after 14 games is their best in the top 5 since 96-97 season, when they finished second. It's the first time they've had a goal difference of plus 17 or greater since April 2003. Amazing.
How crazy is that? Doesn't that just show you? So for any of the fans that are old enough, I apologise. I'm certainly in that bracket, along with Daz. Not to tell us how old we are, but doesn't that just tell us how long this has been? And this has been part of the argument that I've had with Dan Lawless after the games this afternoon. Is that I don't think fans of the younger generation realise how good we were back in the early 2000s and even in the 90s. We had teams that were winning games and scoring lots of goals and having plus goal differences. We've been buzzing if we've been like -8, -7 goal difference at the end of the season. You know what I mean? And we're now on plus like 17s hopefully into the 20s. Like this is what we were like before. And now it's almost like the only time we weren't like that is under Mike Ashley for those 14 odd years. Now he's gone. It's kind of almost like we're reverting back to type.
Yeah.
It's like that was always like a dark era in the club's history, and he kind of stopped on momentum, and then all of a sudden we're going back to where we were before. Like, do you think is that how you kind of see it?
No, I wouldn't say we've gone back to where we were before, but I know just from my own personal thing, my through the Mike Ashley era was like, if we played 14, we need to be on 14 points. We need to kind of match our games to the points ratio. Now we've played 14 games, we're on 27. We're nearly double our points total. Like it's our points to game. So we're getting 2 points a game. Unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely, it really is unbelievable. Jordan 2 for Life just said some fans from around the country think the Premier League only started in 2010, and it's right, and that is the younger generation. The younger generation of fans, the ones that were just old enough to start watching football in 2010, and now are in their teens, early 20s, now are in a position that think that football only started back then, and they don't see anything past that point. Ian said difference is got the best defense in the league, which we have.
Yeah,
absolutely right. Absolutely spot on.
And that's the difference between like the Kevin Keegan era. So whereas they score 3, we score 4, or vice versa. So this is the difference. We have such a solid defense, and we have, as you've mentioned, we have Isaac, and we have ASM fit and ready to go now, and we have Shelby back, and we have the January transfer window to bulk up the squad a bit as well. So like it's all plus, all plus points ahead. So, and long may continue.
Definitely, 100%. I'm not sure if we congratulated this on here, but Andy Brett, we might have done it earlier. But
I think we did. Andy. Cheers, Andy.
But appreciate that for the super sticker, $1.99. Premier League record in 2022, played 32, won 19, drew 8, lost 6, 65 points from a possible 96. Wow. That is European football right there.
Yeah, that is
European football right there. Absolutely fantastic. There are some others. Would I eat there? Put Chelsea have a lot of players sweating on World Cup calls. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
110%. Graham. Before Graham. He's got it clipped.
Hey, look, I'd follow up on that one. If Miggy breaks the record of 30, he's on 4 or something, so he's got to get scored in another 9 games or something like that, and in a row, and we have to win the league. Yeah, I'll follow through on that. You don't even have to clip it, Jordy. 2 for life. But do when I. Because I will try and wiggle out of it. You know what I mean.
Always. Keith, who put, I've just double checked NUFC's best Premier League unbeaten record was set in 94-95 season when they went 12 Premier League games unbeaten. Last game of the 93-94 season, the first 11 games of 94-95. Interesting. Okay, it's still there to be broken. Okay, thank you as always, Keith.
Cheers, Double Salo.
Yeah, Double Salo is always on point. Graham Bowman, welcome, Graham. Nice to have you with us. So, what are your thoughts for January? What are we missing, Baz? What are we missing when we get to January?
Well, before Chris Wood scored, I had this thought in my head, right? What if Wilson gets injured? What if we come to, if we're on this continuing this run and we are still and now I'm thinking of different positions as well. We're still chasing that top 4 and trying to hold on to it. Do we need another striker? Not, but I think we need a young striker to come in, someone that can slot in there, that's happy to sit on the bench and happy to get limited game time for this season, but would be more of a run next season. A player like that, or kind of a winger slash can play up front, or kind of can play on the wing. So someone to play in the front 3, really, I suppose, just in case, if it's the case that we need. Well, we are still going for that top 4. Then I suppose do we need another defensive midfielder to unleash Bruno a bit? And I suppose also, I've said before, maybe looking at a left back. But again, do you go for this in January, or are you going to wait till the summer? I suppose and again, the other thing is, and I'm gone on a bit of a tangent, is you assess what position, what state, how healthy the squad is at the start of the January window, and especially close to the end. Have kind of ideas in mind if you need to switch something up quick. If someone gets injured and we're going to need someone to come in, or even look at the loan market as well, just to bulk up that squad to make sure that we get into Europe. So yeah, there's multiple permutations, but I've answered. I've said a bit of everything, Graham. That's my final answer.
I love it. But yeah, for me, I think a ball breaker of a defensive midfielder, someone that can just be in there and just be solid. We've got someone like Short Longstaff, Shelby, who are good on the ball, but someone that's like a properly defensive midfielder, someone that can break the play up and keep things solid. We might not always need someone like that in games, but there'll be some games like maybe even today or other games in the future where we need someone just to kind of sit in front of the back four and just keep things tight and keep things solid. Someone like that coming in, more creativity is what I'll say. Where that is, you could say either on either wing, right or left. You could have maybe in the number 8 position, someone who maybe can play in both as a number 8 and on either wing. I've always said
like someone springs to mind there.
Yeah, someone that currently plays for Leicester City and is playing extremely well at the moment. In James Maddison would be ideal. Being honest, whether we get him in January or not is another thing. The way he's playing right now, every game he plays well, it makes it more difficult to make that deal happen. Someone would be more likely. Whether Newcastle are going to be willing to put the money down right now to get him is another thing. But there's people in the chat that have talked about Mudryk.
I saw something today about Arsenal might go in again or look at him again, and they're saying the price has gone up to 65 million now. I didn't click into it, but I just read the headline.
Well, I mean, look, we've beat Arsenal to a fantastic midfielder before. Yeah. Who's to say we can't do it again? But look, the one thing I will say, there you go. The one thing I'll say is that Newcastle won't be stuck to just one player. They won't be stuck to a Mudryk. They won't be stuck to a Maddison. They won't be stuck to a Moussa Diaby. They'll be looking at a huge pool of players, and those pool of players will all be of the same level. So if the deal's not right in January for a Mudryk, they'll look at a Maddison. If it's not right for a Maddison, they'll look at a Diaby. They will look at elsewhere. If not, they watched the. I'm trying to think now. It's gone out of my mind. But they'll be watching a clutch of players, and they will look at and see, right, okay, if we can't buy a player, can we get someone on loan from a top European side that's playing Champions League football, that's not getting a regular game of football? Let's give him 6 months with a view to buy, and we'll have the option to buy. And if he does well for us, do we sign him? Okay, and that's what Newcastle do. It'll be an open kind of revolving door of a situation. Let's see what comes about. What money's right? Can we do it? Bang! Let's do it. We know we've got the money to put it down. It's just a case of where's the right deal to be done. And look, it is definitely the apocalypse today, Daz, because Yano agrees with me about Maddison, and I never thought I'd see the day. And for that, I'm just going to pour another one of the brandies, because it must be that I've had too many of these today. That Yano agrees, but you know what, Yano, you look. Let's be honest. You're a top mod for the channel, but you know football as well. And look,
can't hear you, Pete.
Sorry, it went off. What I would say is that Yano's a top mod for the channel, and he knows football. And regardless of how you feel of a player, so I know that you would know if they were playing well, and you would recognise that you would say it's a fair play. He
hasn't said that he'd sign him though.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that he's, but he's recognised that he's playing well. He's having a good run at the moment.
Yeah, no, he is.
I think most people can see a role for him in our team, and the way we play right now. I think there is a role for him in this team, Eddie Howe likes his English-based players. I think Maddison would jump at the chance of coming to Newcastle, in my opinion.
He should.
And just from what I'm hearing, just when you know a lot of people in Leicester, and people know people in Leicester, that there is a feeling that Maddison wants out. They've not specifically said Newcastle, but they've said he wants out, but he's doing it the polite way. He's doing it the nice way. He's doing it in a respectful way because he respects the club and everything they did for him. They plucked him from Norwich when nobody wanted him, or nobody were willing to pay big money for him. They paid 25 million for him. So he's trying to do it in the respectful way. So you're not going to see transfer. You're not going to see transfer requests and all that stuff. You're not going to see him and his agent putting things out in the media like other players. But there is a genuine feeling, not just from the media, but from people in Leicester who support Leicester, who know people that play for the club or whatever, that he wants out. So let's see what happens off the back of that.
True. Yep. Let's see how it plays out. Do we have any more questions, Pete, before we do the sponsors and tell people what's happening and wrap up for the night?
Interested, not necessarily questions, but points. So Jordan Team for Life says, even Mark Goldbridge, a Man United YouTube channel, making comments about us being a bad day for Man United. They're really worried now. So I think what Jordan Team for Life is referring to is that making out that it's a bad day, that they got absolutely spanked by Aston Villa, bearing in mind that we beat them 4-0 at our place. And on top of that, we then went and beat Southampton 4-1. So what we've done is stretch the gap even further.
And look at that goal difference between Man United on -1 and us on +17.
There you go. And
love it.
And you look at the array of talent that they've got. They've got the likes of Anthony, which they paid nearly 100 million for, and we, our attacking lineup was assembled for less than that. So less than one of their players. So look, we're doing things right, and we're making people sit up and take notice. Because if I remember the last few weeks in the build up, even in the build up to the Man U game and beyond, Mark Goldbridge has been laughing off Newcastle's chances and been laughing off the fact that we've been doing well and saying, they're not great, blah 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 blah. Talking us down. Now he's talking us up because he knows that we're the real deal.
It's going to be a right old battle. Look at even Liverpool are trying to come back into the picture now as well. So it's there's a long way to go, and that battle for those European / top 4 positions is going to go. It might go to the wire. It should be very interesting.
Definitely. Last couple of points. In 2015-16, when Leicester won the league, Leicester were in second place with 29 points after 14 games. Okay, so great stats as always from Keith. 8 wins, 5 draws, 1 defeat. Similar stats to Newcastle stats this season. We're not far off that mark whatsoever. So fair play to that. And then there's a couple of points about shows that we're loaded and represented in. Watched the Race for Europe show, stood up to Lawless and done the Toon proud after today's result. Look, Lawless is fuming. And I said this to Daz off air. He is fuming. And although he's been kicking off with D, who's a Palace fan, he's somehow managed to switch it back to Newcastle. And he's now pointing the finger at Newcastle for the money that we've spent. Apparently, we've bought our success. And I had to point out that we signed Burn for 13 million, Target for 12, Trippier for 12. Who else was there? Pope for 10 million, initial fee 3 million that we paid for. I had to remind him of this, that if that's what's buying the league, then I'm all for it. Because if that's what you call buying the league, is buying those players for those prices, I'll do that all day long. And yet he's having a proper meltdown tonight. He wants Moyes gone. He wants Posh in. Posh or Vieira is what the conversation is. But yeah, Loaded Mag will be represented on that channel at some point this week, and we will be going to town on Lawless. There is no doubt about it. So Yes,
tune in for that one. And of course, we have to play West Ham twice, so they're going to be real ding dong battles, and away days will be a ding dong battle. I can see the combined 11 being very interesting for that one.
With the popcorn for those ones, you know it.
All right.
I'm just going to finish on this, Dad.
Yeah.
Almod, Lisa, Carlsberg big
Lisa.
weekends. I'm at Trippier, 3 points, and third in the league. Buzzing.
And I heard that she met Trippier when she was out stalking Colin Wilson. Is that right, Lisa? Love it. Right. We'll just let people know. I'm going to give a shout out to sponsors first. Shout out to shybarnes.com. Simon is almost ready to press that button and release the new merch that's going to be go live proudly this week. He was ready to go the other day on that, so there will be some new loaded gear on the site, as well, of course, as the range that Simon has in hats, t-shirts, hoodies already. And these only a snapshot of what's available from Simon's shybarnes.com, and also the loaded t-shirt, the way it is, and the other loaded one will have some buddies in the shapes of. I'm going to tell people there's going to be hoodies, there's going to be hats, as well as the cups and bottles as well. So keep an eye out for that. Shout out to Pins and Prints as well, and to what's available from Pins and Prints. And so there's a nice little tweet out from Pins and Prints today on that, referring back to Bruno's goal in the past. So he's going to be busy putting these posters together. So shout out as well to Machine House and the range that Marty from Machine House has available in the shape of t-shirts and hoodies. Check out the latest from Marty on that one. And also a shout out to the Geordie Rice and Dean and the range that Dean has available. And this is where I normally then also remember to stick on the discount. If you put in a loaded mag into the website when you're purchasing something, you'll get 10% discount. So use that when it's there. Also, then a shout out to, and I know Russ is in the chat because we're going getting tattoos together when we win the league. Here's Russ, and I'll remove this again, and the radiatorshed.com. So we've got no one to put in jail, Pete, apart from ourselves today. So we're locked up, but we're happy. We're happy. And of course, this is the everything you need to know about Russ. And go check out the website. And when Russ comes on with this, I am going to run through the website. I have it there ready to go. And of course, there's a range of radiators. Again, these are only a sample from Russ and the Radiator Shed. So that is after the sponsors. Want to tell people as well that we will have, I just set it up. I haven't even got to talk to you guys about it, but we'll probably have a loaded cube this week. At the moment, I've set it up for Tuesday at 7:30. That might change, but that's kind of the marker I've laid down, because we have a lot to talk about. Good results, and then we're going into the Palace game as well, the cup game. I suppose one of the big talking points will be who would you rest, and we kind of covered a bit of it tonight. But so that's probably coming up on Tuesday. We will have an away days, I'm sure, Pete, towards the end of the week for the Chelsea game.
Yes, and it's not yet confirmed as, but we might have a cup special away days, potentially tomorrow. I'm just waiting on someone from Dee's channel. I don't know if Dee can make it, but looking at potentially having an away day special, cup special tomorrow. But I'm sure we'll get a tweet out tomorrow if that's the case. Yeah. I'll find out for sure. I'm just waiting on someone getting back to me. Looking to be about a 7:30 start. But yeah, there'll definitely be an away days for the Chelsea game. Who is willing to come on and talk after four games without a win for Chelsea is going to be the hard part. But I'm sure we're getting away days going. Me and you, Daz, we know some guys that might want to come on.
Yeah, we do. I'd love to see the guys. Is it Karim and I definitely remember Boogeyman. Looking forward to having a chat with Boogeyman if he comes on. But yeah, of course,
we've got something waiting for them as well, haven't we?
Well, we have. I might even dig that out and make it even a little bit prettier. But yeah, of course, Boogeyman. We have to tell the story now. When we went on the channel, was before January. It was November or something like that, and they had us relegated. Boogeyman had us wanted us to sign players in November or something like that, and when you can't obviously sign players, but then had us relegated and really just kiss us goodbye. When we said that we'd be back when we're in March when we played them again, and of course we didn't get to talk to them then, but we sent out the video anyway. So Boogeyman, looking forward to catching up. We should be in the championship according to him. We're flying high, ahead of Chelsea. So how things change. But yeah, looking forward to that. But hopefully that one goes ahead, Pete. Also, we probably won't have a link up with Paul from the crew from the Tune Review. You never know, we might. But probably with all the matches this week, it's going to be hard to book that in. So we'll probably be back the following week, no doubt, with Paul again.
Yeah, he wasn't very well, was he, last week?
Well, yeah, hopefully he's feeling better now. Yeah. But yeah, that's it from what's coming next, really. Again, as always, make sure you subscribe so you'll get to see what the latest is happening, and make sure you hit those likes. And the target, as we said, is 350. 350.
Oh, just check.
Pete's going to check. And make sure as you're leaving, you hit that like button. Very easy. You don't have to worry about it then after that. But as Pete is checking, I'll line up our outro ready to go.
I think there's 174 at the moment, so we're over halfway there.
You can do it. Do the right thing. Yes. But thanks everyone for coming along and listening to us tonight. Thanks everyone who was in the chat and play their part in the show as well, their comments and questions. Thanks everyone who donated to the channel as well. And yeah, thanks Newcastle for putting up a great show. Pete, thanks for joining me. Thanks for Chris as well. And Richie will be back again next week as well. It's the day off today, Richie. But that is it. Good night, everyone. How'd you like that? How you like Drink it.